So thank you everyone. Welcome to the Connections event for GovHack Victoria tonight. This is the first time we've got together for 2023, and this is the one and only Connections event for Victoria before the big weekend. I'll go through the dates and the details soon, but welcome. Thank you for joining us today. First up is the acknowledgement of the country. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land which we meet today. I would like to pay my respects to elders past and present. So, first up, we have a number of sponsors that sponsor today's event, or the weekend itself. Without these sponsors providing us with the data and the challenges, GovHack would not be possible. So I just want to say thank you to our sponsors. We've got the Public Record Office of Victoria and the Victorian State Government. We've also got the international lead sponsor, Infosys. On the weekend, one of our venues is Infosys, so you'll be going, some of us will be going there. And then we have the Australian national sponsors, which is the Australian Tax Office and NFVH. And finally, we have our regional partners, Deakin, and Deakin is also a venue for this year, so we'll be going through those details as well. So, welcome. Today I'll be talking a little bit about what GovHack is. We'll be hearing from our sponsors and partners. We'll be hearing from 2 success stories as well, and we'll be having a number of Hackerspace showcases from the members of the Victorian team. By the way, I am Daniel Drenton. I am the regional lead for Victoria this year, and we also have Matthew Watt. He's the director of GovHack here tonight. So, on the weekend, we will be having a number of volunteers. I expect the number of volunteers to increase. I've got a few people I'm still trying to recruit. Yay, awesome. Yes, okay. So I expect this to increase, but these people here on this screen today, some of us are here today, some of us weren't able to join. These are the people on the Victorian team. So on the weekend, if you have any troubles, if you have any problems, I suspect all these people will be here. So we're here to help you make the weekend happen. No, wait, that doesn't make sense. We're here to help you get your challenges in place and make it a good weekend. So if you have any problems, talk to myself or the Victorian team and we'll help you make it happen. So first up, where's GovHack? We are not a group of bad hackers. We are not DEFCON. If you want to go to that and be bad hackers, please go to that. We are not that. So what are we? We're a non-profit with a mission to use open government data to make our communities better places. So GovHack has a number of values there as well, things like inclusive, free, regional, volunteer-driven. These are what GovHack is. So again, DEFCON, it's a thing. If you want to be a bad hacker, go there. We're not that. We're doing this stuff. Who do we reach? Obviously, we reach Victoria. That's why you guys are all here. We have 2 locations in Victoria this year, but we also have a number of locations all over Australia each year. That changes depending on who's sponsoring who we can get a venue. But overall, there were 500 participants during COVID. Previously, in person events, there were 1,000 to 2,000 participants. And yes, it has quite a legacy behind it, GovHack, and we're looking forward to making this year a big year. So, benefits of GovHack. Overall, you get to form a team and you get to build digital and entrepreneurial skills by getting together and trying to make something of, not necessarily nothing, but you're making something from an idea and making it into a product of some kind. You get to use public data sets in a meaningful way. These public data sets are always available. You could go look at them today, but through GovHack, you get a challenge, you get a goal, and you get a scope to work with those data sets, which you won't have if you went off and did it yourself. And finally, you get to connect with other people. Today, we have another number of our sponsors, our success stories here as well, and ourselves. So we get to connect with everyone and find out other people in Victoria. So who participates? It is open. GovHack is big, so if you get on our Slack channel, you can talk to any of the participants in Victoria or in Australia, and Slack does become quite active during the weekend. And finally, there are 2 new parts to GovHack in 2023. In particular, the Sunday judging includes peer participants, and so you will be able to have an effect on the overall judging. And there will be an online briefing session as well for mentors, judges, and sponsors. So the 2023 competition, it is, if you don't know already, it is from the 18th to the 20th in August, so just under 1 month away. So where to GovHack? There are 2 locations this year for Victoria. We have Infosys and Deakin. Infosys we had last year. It is at the Melbourne Living Lab, and Deakin we also had last year, and it is at the Building T. So currently standing, you have the option to go to either location, and both locations are up for registration on the Hackerspace. And there is also the option to participate online. So, challenge design, what it's about ideation, exploration, and contribution. And sponsors will talk a little bit about this today, but it's about sparking the ideas and creating a solution that is appropriate for the audience in which is going to view it, and our sponsors will talk a little bit about that today. So you don't just get thrown a bunch of data and go wing it. We have mentors, and the mentors are from the sponsors, a lot are from the sponsors, but we'll have some that aren't from the sponsors, and these people are data custodians, business analysts, and technology developers who will help you understand what the data is, how you can use it. If you've got an idea, they'll help you kind of figure out how to achieve what you're trying to achieve with the data, if that's even possible. And if that's not possible, they'll probably push you in a different direction. So there will be mentors on the weekend, and they are there to help you. So if you have any problems, do talk to them. So the data, GovHack, as we mentioned, is about open data, in particular open government data. There's a lot of that in the challenges, and it is there to use to achieve an outcome. So during the competition, the data will be available online, and it will be published to you and available to you in open formats, which you can manipulate, use in applications, and try to achieve an outcome from. An example, on the weekend you will be highly guided. You won't have to find a lot of it. It will be available to you, but competition data is available and will be available from the various government portals that you'll be directed to in the challenges. So that finishes me talking. Next up is our keynote speakers. So we're going to invite each sponsor and partner up one by one, and they will be able to talk to you and share a little bit about what they're about and what they're hoping to help you achieve during the weekend. So I'd like to invite Asa. Asa, sorry. That's all right. I did the opposite of the opposite in my head. So to the stage to talk about the public. Okay.
Can everyone hear me? Yep. Excellent. Got quite a small voice, so if you can't hear me, just tell me to speak up. Now, I'm not a Mac person, so let's see if I can actually get
you want to
the
use the browser?
Yep. Yeah. Very sensitive, this touchpad. Every time I even approach it, it kind of like freaks out. So. Oh. Yeah. Right, while that's going on, I'm just going to introduce, I'm from Public Record Office Victoria. We're the State Archives of Victoria. If you go to North Melbourne, you'll see 2 huge concrete boxes, or you won't, they're underground. They contain 100 kilometres of records. Tiny percentage is being digitised. We make the digitised records available through the website, and we've just launched a brand new public API. So you can basically query the API, I'll show that in a minute, and get access to raw data for about 15,000 data sets, which is all the records created by government agencies since 1836 to the present day, for all the big areas of government: education, land, justice, immigration, and all the agencies or departments that create those records administer those big areas of government since colonial, pre-colonial times to today.
What do you mean by 100 kilometers of records?
Sorry?
What do you mean by 100 kilometers?
So we've got 100 shelf kilometres.
Oh, okay.
So if you get a, tape measure and go along all the shelves in the two concrete boxes on top of each other, you'll get 100 kilometres of records.
No, 100 kilometers of tape. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. And that's what we make available via the website. But let me, first of all, I'm actually just going to go to the website.
Oh, okay.
I won't show you this because you're not allowed to see that apparently until the weekend. Scrub that. If I had my flashy stick, I'd just go. Okay, here it is. Spankly, silver, beautiful Lamborghini engine API. And we've got a web form here, so you don't have to know how to query it. You can just put in some text. Can someone give me some text? Anything, any subject. Sorry?
Alien. Alien.
Alien.
No, what about pets or dogs or
What about animals?
animals? As I don't think there'll be many aliens on his database.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
No.
Here's where you classify, politicians. Now, every time you click on the label, you'll get some idea what the label actually refers to. This one refers to if you want to return any records about animals from the archive that have been digitised. You can put in some dates if you want to, not mandatory. But we're looking for digitised records about animals. When the results returned as XML, you can have them returned as CSV, JSON, or IIIF. Let's stick with XML.
Yeah, sexy.
And then we'll just go search, keep it nice and simple for people who don't know about
What?
APIs.
That's not readable at all.
That's when we download.
You don't want to make it in Excel.
Or CSV, we can do that. And what you'll have in your XML, what you'll have when we see it, is all the metadata for every single record that's been returned the results. Plus you'll have in this, really important, the URL, which is the JPEG for the digitised record. So if you want to do an app or whatever, which shows that image plus all the record metadata, you can do it using the API. But let me just quickly show you, if I can get back to the browser. I'm really not a Mac person.
How many does it return per query?
Okay, you can specify. Generally, it does probably about 100, but you can specify up to like 12,000, because in some of the photographic collections, they might have like 12,000, 15,000 records. And that's where you specify just your number of rows. And it's a good idea to do that. Just go really high, because you won't really know how many records are in a collection. So just go high, put in like 10,000. I don't think you'll break it. And if you do, we can just do something about that. Now let's go to the website.
That's pretty fast.
I need my training wheels for a Mac. Let's try and get back to the Prov website if I can see it. Oh, you know what? Let's do it this way. So how do we get to this API? You go to collection. This is the Prov website. Explore the collection. Let's open that up. Then scroll all the way down here to Prov collection API. And that's the web form. But before we do that, what if you don't know all the numbers, the series numbers for the different collections? What do these series numbers mean? Great question, Asa. Why don't we go here? Explore archives by topic. We've made it simple. You don't have to be an archivist to explore the archives. You don't have to think like an archivist. God forbid. You can be a human and think like a Google person or whatever. Bing. Here we go. All the main areas of the archives are in these topics. All right, we're interested in What are we interested in?
Are
Anyone
they all
interested in-
images in your archives?
Okay, so we've got about 6 million digitized records out of 100 kilometers of records which haven't been digitized. So probably a small percentage, because remember, we're a small agency, got 100 staff, we've got about 70 volunteers. Those volunteers are madly trying to digitize stuff, annotate, transcribe, even though we've now got our first transcription product coming soon, hopefully.
This it shows a disc or it shows a tape.
It's on tape.
How exciting. What an interesting database.
So, but look, here we are on Explore Archives by topic, photographs and film. And on the actual web page, it tells you about the actual topic and all the different numbers associated with the different collections of photographs. Melbourne Olympics is a really fun, good one. That's 10742. So in the API, you'd put in the series number 10742 and then maybe put in something like Dawn Fraser. But let's go here now. And that's how you get the raw data for that particular discrete subject. So here we are on the Melbourne Olympics photographic collection. Let's just chuck in Dawn Fraser here because we all know she was a major part of the 56 Olympics in Melbourne. Let's not think about the Commonwealth Games. Sorry about that.
Oh, boy.
All good. Let's go to Dawn. Dawn. And here's the results coming straight from the website. These are straight from Solar.
This is awesome.
And you've got a little thumbnail there.
Show this, Chris.
Because all the photographic collections have been digitised that we have on the website. And in the AAA viewer image viewer on that web page. So this is the actual web page for this specific record. It tells you the series, it tells you the record name, which is this
What are you going to do with
very insightful B1783. Not everyone's a number, but unfortunately in this case, Dawn is a number. And then I can scroll down, make it a bit bigger. So there's that. And all the photographic series on the website in that Explore Archives by topic will bring you to this sort of a viewer. But now that we've got this title, let's ask the API if it can find something like this. Because this is going to give you all the raw data. Because normally, for people to get the raw data from this page, they have to then copy and paste everything into a spreadsheet or Excel or whatever. But with the API, you just put in that title and you come back with all the raw data, plus the URL to this image. That's the beauty of the API. You can programmatically query all the raw data from the archive and use that in whatever you build, which hopefully will respond to our challenges. We've got 2 challenges. One's about how to get a machine or a human to be able to tag these images with their own tags that we can then feed back into Solar and let people search the photographs, the records by those tags. That's one challenge. The second challenge is that we're going to have a photo wall. This isn't the UI for our photo wall. The new UI is coming. This is the developer's UI as a prototype. So maybe we'll chuck in Dawn Fraser to the photo wall. Click on search and we get all these records coming up. And when you click on any of those, this is our new presentation format for records or photos. That'll take you straight to the record we just looked at. But let's go back to the old UI. So the second challenge is for you guys, hopefully, to enable people to also tag these images. And then once again, for that tag information to be fed back into some kind of repository storage area. So we can use that in Solar on the website to search by those tags.
All right, what's Solar?
So Solar is the search engine software on the website that we use, which is, I think, is open source. I think most websites use Solar now. A lot of websites use Solar.
If you say Apache Solar.
Apache Solar, even better. Thank you. Maybe you can come up in about.
And why do you want to tag it?
I think it's just another way for people to find records, which is like social metadata. It's like a folksonomy. So we have the official records and we have the official metadata that we've given them. But I think it'd be nice for people to find records by other people's interests as well. So, I mean, we might call this B1034, but someone might else call it Dawn Fraser standing in front of Paul, or Dawn Fraser getting a kiss from a competitor, or whatever. Olympics, 1956. So just different ways of entering and finding the archives.
What if you could use computer vision to recognise that?
Or machine learning could go, hey, that's Dawn Fraser, or that's a swimmer, that's the 1956 Olympics. So machine learning could be good for this as well, as apart from people actually tagging it themselves. So that's the photo wall, that's the API. This is our website. I'll be online for 46 hours over the weekend for a fee. It's only my usual fee, $2.50 an hour. But apart from that, just, no, definitely. I don't know how we're going to do that. It's going to be Slack. Slack, hit me up on Slack. So Asa, I do not understand how to get to your website. Asa, I do not understand how the archives work. Asa, what is this API supposed to be doing? I will answer you. After I have my margarita and my coffee, I will answer you. That's Prov. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for that one. So next up, we have versus. Right?
Thank you. Hopefully I should be audible. My talk will not be as interesting as Asa, and I'm not a technocrat either, so don't ask me too many questions about it either. So basically, look, my name is Ashok Mysore. I'm from Infosys. I'm the vice president here, and I manage the business in Australia and New Zealand. Really excited to be part of GovHack. This is our 6th year as platinum sponsors. I guess what excites us on the GovHack part of it is, this year the theme is around ESG. We are, it's very close to Infosys' heart, and it is a core part of our value system on how and what we do, with the environment and all other the ESG goals. So I just want to talk about just a couple of things and why GovHack is important for us. So for Infosys, our assets are basically people. So that's our IP, and the talent and digital skills are basically the focus for us. So what we have basically been, I guess, engaged here is how do we work with the entire ecosystem, be it the universities, be it with the government, and other bodies and other opportunities like within GovHack. So how do we actually develop and build skills? So that's really, quite exciting for us. So as Infosys, from an education perspective, when you look at the corporate, so we have the largest education and university, if you like, which is actually situated in Mysore. So that's the largest corporate university. It's much bigger than what you may have actually seen and heard of Redmond for Microsoft or Google Academy and others. So we have a capacity to take about 15,000 students at a time, and we it's a fully on campus, and students actually learn for 6 months. So we are excited about how do we actually bring learning, education, etc. into this, and GovHack is a really exciting place for us to actually experience that. One other thing is on the back of the ESG goals, we have actually made a pledge that we would basically educate or digitally educate digital inclusion of about 10 million citizens, global citizens. And this is not just in India, it's right across the globe. So today, I think our count is somewhere just a shade up of about 4+ million registered users who are using our platform, which is called Springboard. And that is something that we have actually rolling out here in Australia as well. Some of that actually is used in GovHack for people to learn about different technologies or learn about certain approaches. You'll also see Springboard being used by kind of the New Colombo Plan, which is Scholars of New Colombo Plan, which is a government initiative, etc. So we'd love to actually roll that out. Infosys is probably, here in Australia, we are about 8-9% of our global business. So what we would like to do on Springboard is to have about 1 million Australian citizens to be actually part of this Springboard. And we want to actually bring Springboard and that learning, as part of GovHack. On the ESG, I think, we achieved carbon neutrality in 2020. We're about 30 years ahead of the Paris Accord. And everything that we have actually learned and what we're actually practicing is something that we're actually taking to our customers as solutions. So we do a lot of work in driving solutions around ESG with our customers. As an example, working with Tennis Australia in basically helping them measure what the carbon footprint that is actually created by virtue of actually doing Australian Open. What are the carbon credits that Tennis Australia need to actually apply and get to offset, all the players and coaches and everybody else who actually, take flights and crisscross around the world and come here. So what we are actually, building that and helping them in understanding what the carbon footprint that is being actually created, how do they actually, buy those carbon credits and make the entire tournament carbon neutral, which is, I guess, their vision as well. So I'm not too sure whether any specific problem statements around Tennis Australia or anything else is part of GovHack, but definitely there will be problem statements around ESG, which we are very, it's very close to our heart. The other thing which I'd like to say is, we would love to welcome all of you to Living Labs. Some of you, I think, I do see some, familiar faces who did GovHack last year. So it's a space which can accommodate about 200, 300 people easily, but I think we had probably about 50, 60 people last year. And really encourage all of you to actually, consider the Infosys Living Labs, which is, 2 tram stops from here. A lot of fun. I enjoyed actually, visiting each of those who were solving problems, and it's a lot of fun. We see, I guess, GovHack as a festival of ideas, really, a great environment, a fail-safe environment. It's a great place to actually put all your ideas and different techniques to help solve community problems. So we'd love to actually, as I said, welcome all of you over there. And last thing that I would say is, last year I think we had our youngest one was a 6-month-old baby, but we didn't do much. But so that baby's brother, who was a 7-year-old, was the youngest hacker, and the eldest one was, we had a person who was about 78 years old who participated in it. So age is no barrier. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to take part in hackathons. Everybody from user experience to design ideas to business analysts, and those who can actually code, those who can present, those who can actually narrate a story. Everyone actually has a place in GovHack. So I'd encourage all of you to do this, and encourage all your network to actually also participate in this. So with that, I'll just basically say, make use of the opportunity. We are absolutely excited to be partnering with GovHack and looking forward to this year's event. So thank you so much, Matt. Thank you. Sorry, we had so we had an idea. A video which we thought we'll try.
Yes. Okay.
Depending on the connectivity, how it will go, and if it doesn't
It's a web thing. Can't blame Mac for that.
Not the Mac's fault.
Work on I did at home.
It's a web thing.
Turn it off and on again? No.
Oh.
It has to work.
Our final keynote speaker, I'd like to invite Rita up to the stage. Would you like a microphone or?
I think that's fine. So yeah, thanks. So thanks everyone for coming today. My name is Rida. I'm a lecturer of applied AI at Deakin University. I'm here today to represent Deakin as a facility sponsor or regional sponsor. I think that's how we call it now. It's the second time we are participating, and we are hosting part of the event on our campus at Burwood. So why we are interested into a GovHack? Because we believe at Deakin that an event like GovHack is the best place to, for brainstorming, for working on real problem, and also to understand what it takes to find a feasible solution for a big data problem. So yeah, just briefly, as I mentioned, we are sponsoring again. We are a facility sponsor or regional sponsor for the event. So we will be hosting part of the event only on Saturday and Sunday, not on Friday. Also, we will have mentors that will be there to support participants, to provide advice, suggestions, guidance based on their experience. We will have, I think, 4 to 5 mentors with diverse and large range of skills, including expertise in the design, in data science, in computer science, and in general in IT. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Just on that, Rita brought up a good point. This year we are going to be launching from on Friday from the Infosys labs. So everyone will be gathering at Friday at the Infosys labs, and then on Saturday and Sunday we'll have the 2 locations, Deakin and Infosys, for you to participate at. So it's a bit different from last year, but trying to get everyone together. And on that one of the reasons was to get the Deakin, Infosys, and potentially online people to gather together to form a team. And then if you can have team members from all over the place. And so if we get everyone together, it gives us the opportunity to create those teams potentially between campuses. So that's the hope, that's the idea. So next up, actually, I said last, but it's not last. Simon is our last. I changed the order. So I'd like to invite Simon up, please. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Simon D'Souza, and I am the Engagement Manager for the Open Data Program in the state of Victoria. Firstly, I'd like to say I hate following Asa in his presentations because he's always a bit of a card. Asa is really one of our, a good example of one of our great custodians in the open data space in government. I probably should say that we look after the open data portal data.vic, but also the open data policy as well, which is a set of guiding principles around the treatment and management of the release of data to the general public. As I'm saying, hate following Asa, because he is a wonderful character and a wonderful mentor, and also a great custodian. He actually is one of the people in the back end of DataVic, putting up a lot of data records from Prov onto the portal. And you'll also put the APIs on there before the weekend, won't you, good mate?
Yes, looking forward to that. This year, we will have 2 challenges. We hope they're enticing enough for everybody to have a look at. We are also working on the release of some new data sets that are really exciting to support those 2 challenges. There's one that I've been working on for 2 years to wrangle out of that particular data custodian. So, gosh, you'll see me smiling on that for Saturday and Sunday. So, and we also hope to have some mentors from the agencies that have helped put together the 2 challenges there on Saturday and Sunday. But we also have the open data team available at the event, but also through Slack throughout the weekend to ask questions. I won't keep everybody too long because I think the showcases are far more interesting, but we've been involved in GovHack for 11 years now, and there's obviously some insights that we can give about
what a good submission, what a good entry looks like. And so it's probably 4 or 5 things that I like to talk to people and tell them to keep front of mind. And the first one is really take time to understand what the challenge is and what it's asking you. I'm part of the judging team, and I think each year we get rid of half the entries purely because they're not meeting the criteria for each of the challenges. So have a think about that, spend some time looking at those challenge questions before you do attempt them. Always important to have a diverse skill set in your team. But I think also this year, will there be some individuals that will be floating around or at least available to support teams? Hopefully.
Hopefully.
That usually happens at the
Yes,
event.
yes, at the physical events, yes.
From an insights and ideas perspective, make sure that there's some depth in those insights and there's those ideas you are presenting. And from that, one of the final things I will say is that good storytelling is the key. And the video is very, very important in that sense. It doesn't have to be the most schmick production value, but the story has to be really well told. And so that's probably the biggest point I try to bring across to competitors. And for an example, I kind of think that you're providing some recommendations to a policy owner in government. Have that in the back of your mind when you're also putting your stories together. And the most important thing is have fun. So don't stress too much and be collegiate. Thank you.
That's truly our last keynote speaker. So I'd just like one last round of applause for everyone that spoke as the keynote speaker, please. Thank you. So we're now moving into the Hackerspace walkthrough. So I've got Patrick to help us with this one. So Patrick, I'll let you take it away. Would you like mine? Or? Yeah.
So hi everyone, my name is Patrick. I'm volunteer for GovHack Victoria this year. I'm part of the events team. So today I'll be going through walkthrough of the Hackerspace, which is basically the website that we'll be using over the weekend. Yeah, so this is what the website currently looks like. So there's nothing really on there currently until the weekend, and they will all come up, which is this is what it will look like on the actual weekend. So this is last year's Hackerspace.
Friday or weekend?
Sorry?
Friday or weekend?
It should be the Friday.
So at a certain time on Friday, it all goes live. 7 PM on Friday, all the challenges come up. 7 PM, yes. Yeah. On screen, I can't see that. No, usually notes appear on the CD information. Yeah, that's kind
So yeah, on the previous screen, this is what the challenges have. So yeah, as I said before, like it's like a recurring thing throughout the presentation. It will be 2023 one is going to be pretty empty currently. So we're mainly using the 2022 one to showcase what they will actually look like on the day. So participants and teams can enter any regional challenge. So we're in Victoria right now, but you can enter any of the challenges, whether they're international, New Zealand, or any of the other states. The only thing is just challenges within each state are just based on For example, in Victoria, a lot of the challenge will be set by the state government or the local councils located within Victoria. So if you click on one of the challenges, just located inside them, this is what it will roughly look like. Basically, it will show what the requirements for the challenges are, and as well as the relevant data sets that are included in them. So these are just the data sets that you have to use, but you can also use additional self-sourced ones as well. This is what a team's sort of project's homepage, I guess, looks like. It will also have the data sets that they've used and as well as the challenges that they've entered. Yeah, this is just the continuation from the previous slide. This is where the challenge entries are. If you click on your profile at the top there, this is what it will look like. It will just show you the events you've entered, as well as your team's projects and challenges. At the bottom there, you can also favorite some of the projects that you're most interested in for easier access to them. So this is what the team projects tab at the top will look like. So this is 2022's one. Essentially, when the projects are released at 7 p.m. on Friday, they will show up sort of as they are being created. So as soon as a team is registered, they will just show up. You just have to refresh the page and it will come up. So this will be what the resources tab at the front of the Hackerspace will look like. So the data portals tab will be links, essentially links to relevant organizations with open data, for example, councils and governments. Datasets tab will include the list of datasets specifically relevant to the competition and each challenge. The tech tab is essentially where GovHack has sponsorship from certain software companies. So for example, last year, I believe there was a 3-month trial to Luma, which is like a mind map or flowchart website. It's good for collaboration purposes. And the handbook tab is basically your guide for everything you need to know about the competition. It's like dates and the rules, or the competition rules has the rules, but dates and basically team making guide and stuff like that. Yeah, this is just a link to the handbook. And yeah, here's just the small list for the minimum that you need to have entered, submitted to the competition by Sunday 5 p.m. on the competition weekend. And that's it. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, so that's the first half of the Hackerspace walkthrough. Me and Peter, Peter will be returning for a little bit more after our success stories. But first up, we have our success stories. So we've been able to ask two 2012 participants to come up and talk to you today to give you a better idea of hopefully how and why they were successful, but also what they did, what their experience was like, and just give you an idea of what's going to come next month. So I'll get Anikesh, come up, please.
Sorry, 2012?
Sorry, 2022. Decade.
It's COVID. It's COVID.
Yeah. All right, welcome. Would you like the mic?
Yes.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Peter, for publishing the story. It was beautiful. I've got it handy in my email as well, just in case. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Anikesh. I've been participating in GovHack since 2017. So our team has been registered as Alone More Algorithms that you might have seen somewhere in the presentation. And a few of my team members are here, but during the hack days, we usually start with a lot of networking and some fun, non-alcoholic drinks, obviously, and some pizzas. But the Festival of Ideas, as it rightly says, it's a great opportunity to work around with different data sets, solving the problems, and brainstorming, basically. But for our team members, what we realized over the period of time, and especially the last year, what we concluded that we didn't have a working prototype or a model, which is basically a code base or a UI or anything. But what we had was a use case, a wireframe, and the problem that we were solving. And most importantly, what we focused mainly from day one, I would say from Saturday, was what story are we producing through our video? Because what we realized in the past years of hackathons that from a judging perspective, first they will go and listen to your story, what problem you are trying to solve, how you're connecting the dots, and most importantly, is it the real problem that we want to showcase? So honestly speaking, we just spent a lot amount of time of building the data sets or connecting which data sets we're going to use. And we used Canva as a wireframing app to create the wireframes. And we had a solution design approach and a couple of use cases that we're solving for Victoria. So we picked up the problem statement of address. That was the biggest challenge during COVID to pinpoint a particular address spot, which had two, it's in a corner on a road and there are two entry points. What's the exact address spot? So we used local data from VicGov. We used Australian Bureau of Statistics data as well as Google Plus codes to pinpoint and also predict few modeling about where can the exact location of any incident that might have happened. So yeah, so we had a lot of fun. We danced as well. Yeah, we danced. So it was like on a Saturday afternoon after lunch. We were sleepy. There was a loud music that came up, so we all danced. So the only point that I would say is GovHack is all about connections and networking with so many people that as much as you can get connected in LinkedIn, share your number if you want. And because you're going to cross path at some point of time, because I've seen so many friends and families from GovHack in different organizations that I've worked with. So, hey, I've seen you somewhere. Were you in the hackathon? Yes, we were. Cool. We danced together. Cool. Yeah. And we end up, working together. So yeah, it's all about connections. So have fun. That's it. Thank you, Daniel.
Also, I think you won't be dancing with me. So don't worry, we won't dance together. That's not out of scope. Unfortunately.
She's gonna lip sync.
So next up, thank you, Anikesh, for that success story. We have one more for tonight, and that is Rita. So I would like to welcome Rita up to the stage, please.
Thank you.
Microphone?
Sure, why not? Love a microphone. Well, we had an amazing time at GovHack. My husband and I actually went. It was a bit of a family affair. And we met amazing people there. We met Aman, and we really wanted to solve this problem for the clean energy regulator, which was around, how do you use regenerative finance to implement a clean energy service that people actually want to use? So we actually got a whole lot of data from the Clean Energy Regulator about all these different spaces that were available where you could actually use, outdoor spaces where you could actually use to generate clean energy. And then we came up with this idea of using, kinetic bikes, biophilic shades, urban farming, roadside wind turbines, solar panels, kinetic pavements, and all these other different ideas. And I think it was those ideas that really appealed to the judges, but then we put it together with some machine learning with the data so that we could extrapolate how much actual energy we could deliver. So we had this number of 6.1 million tonnes of CO2 emissions by 2050 that we could reduce. It was an exciting number. And we also kind of had a bit of a model where people could take that to market as well as an app. So I think what was really exciting about the day was Aman ended up inviting his wife, who was an iOS developer, and she built us the app that we could also demonstrate. So I think there's something to learn from that. I think you should invite your wives, your partners, your sisters, your cousins. You've got to get more women in the room as well. So I would highly recommend that, like get your friends along, because it does make it a lot more fun, and especially if you have diverse people in your team that can come up with ideas around, you know, how to pitch it and how to sell it and how to make the video and like all those kind of things. So I think it's really about stretching beyond who you normally talk to and like bring new people into the team as well. So I think that was really something that I learned from that process. Do you agree? Yeah.
Somebody to ask why.
Yeah, and I think that's super exciting. I mean, they might not have developer skills, but they might have other skills they bring to the team that can make a massive impact into your solution. And I currently work for the National AI Centre, and I'm learning a lot about AI that's very different to technology. You know, AI is about multidisciplinary teams. And so I think that would be your killer thing if you brought in people that have got different skills to be part of your team. Was there anything that you wanted to know that I didn't cover? Because I know there hasn't been much opportunity to ask questions, but was there anything about the hackathon that you might want to know a little bit more about?
What was the prize?
Oh my God. The prize was really exciting because we got hardcore cash. I think we got $2,000. It was the best weekend ever. Like, you know, normally on weekends you spend all your money.
What did you spend it
This
on?
weekend we got money. I think we ended up going to KL with that money, did we, Chris?
Nice.
We took, yeah, it was part of it. But yeah, so not only was it fun, we made money, we made new friends, we were able to come up with an idea, but it was about this open mindset of bringing in people who have got different skills and different ideas. So definitely talk to your friends, your cousins, like anyone you know, get them to come along. All right, any other questions? No? Okay, we also made a YouTube video. If you want to have a look at it, just have a look at AU0, spelled AUZERO. Aman used Python and Databricks to evaluate the actual data that we got from the Clean Energy Regulator and from all the councils. And we used, I tell you what, this one product called Noun Projects for all our icons and pictures. So use that if you need to, because I mean, icons and pictures are so exciting when you start building your apps and those kind of things. All right, so I'm done. Thank you very much. I hope you have fun.
So I hope 2 success stories gave you a little bit of, if those who haven't participated, although for those who have participated as well, a little bit of an insight as to why you should participate and what you might get out of it on the weekend. So on that note, we will jump back into our Hackerspace explanation points. We've got Peter, who will give us the Hackerspace overview, and then I'll jump back in to give us.
Thanks, Daniel. I'm just going to take you through just registration and just a little bit more about Hackerspace. So Hackerspace really runs GovHack. It's software that was written by GovHack. It's open source. It's on GitHub. It's a Ruby on Rails app that uses Postgres database. And the whole competition, not just the parts you see, but also the sponsors and the judging and everything behind the scenes is done in that. So as Daniel said earlier, The 2023 part isn't showing much at the moment. Basically, the way it works is things aren't shown until they're appropriate, like it's the right time to see them, which I found a bit confusing myself. I should say I was a competitor in 2015, and as Rita suggested, I brought along my daughter, and she learned just enough Python to do all the data munging on the data sources that we did. And she's now a data scientist, and she's earning more than I ever earned in my working life. So anyway, it was a great experience for her. It was in Canberra. It was bloody freezing. So just a little bit about the internals of Hackerspace. You have a user account. User accounts are associated with a team. A team can be 1 to 10 accounts, 1 to 10 people. The team chooses a couple of challenges, 1 or 2 challenges. We don't encourage you to have too many. And you do a project to answer those challenges. And projects use data sets. Actually, one tip, I remember what people used to do was pick one challenge on Friday or Saturday morning, and then I think there's a cutoff for adding extra challenges. And what you do is you go and look for challenges with no entrance or very few entrants. If no one else enters, you will win.
Yeah, just like
that was a great hack. Okay, so just the registration process. I imagine quite a few have already registered. If you have a Google account, GovHack kind of runs a lot on Google, Slack. You can use that, or you can just use an email and a password. You'll obviously get your lawyer to have a look over all the terms and conditions, quite extensive. Basically, it says we'll be very careful, but something might go wrong. We can't be sued about it. And we want to know a bit about you and get consent to send you emails and things like that. We do write stories about people's experience in GovHack, and so Anikesh, you've seen already. We've also got one about Rita, which is coming soon, and so we may even do some media stuff about that as well.
Was actually discussed on ABC Radio?
Yeah, we just talked about GovHack. I've done many shows on ABC Radio about GovHack. It's a good place to promote it. We also want to know a bit of information. I think this is for insurance. And yeah, that's about it. So,
sorry, just on that one, it's not insurance, it's optional, it's just diverse information to make sure GovHack's meeting its diversity goals.
okay,
So
it's not insurance. Okay.
And by sharing it, it's only used to make sure we're reaching out to diversity goals.
Right. And that's me.
And Peter. Very quick last challenge submission. This is quite important because if you screw this up, you don't get to be part of it. So let's make sure we spin our challenges correctly. So this will be your team view. So this is the kind of top part of the team view. You've got your members there, and you get your project description. Now, if we were to scroll down, you then get to see these buttons here. You've got your evidence of work, video, and project image. So the evidence of work and video are your 2 most important things if you kind of want to make sure you submit in your challenge. This is what the sponsors will be viewing, and they'll be judging you based on these 2 things. So when you are submitting your work, make sure that these 2 parts are part of your submission. And if we kept on scrolling down, we would then see that these are associated with data sets and challenge entries. So when you're on the weekend, you're in your Hackerspace, make sure that you kind of have these things in your page. If you're missing some of these, if you're missing the evidence work or the video, please do make sure they are part of your challenge submission. And finally, when you are looking through the data sets, you will see that your team is an entrance into that challenge. So that is the challenge submission. On the day, the volunteers will be there and will be able to answer any questions about the challenge submission, just to make sure that you are in and that you have done it correctly. So from here on, I recommend if you haven't already gotten Slack, please do get Slack. We have the HackVic channel there. Please do subscribe to that channel, because that is where we'll be putting information. If there's any announcements for the Victoria area, that's where we will be putting them. So yes, you can sign up to Slack today. And finally, team formation, that starts now, really. You can start talking to people, sharing ideas, finding people that you want to kind of talk to on the weekend. And then it's getting on Slack. That's another way to form teams, people on the weekend, before the weekend start going, I like this, I'm gonna do this. And yeah, straight after now is a great opportunity as well. So just final overview of the competition weekend. There's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday will be at Infosys, and we will start at 6 p.m. and then on Saturday and Sunday is the big weekend. And we will be doing presentations from 4 p.m. on Sunday. So they're the dates and the times. And so if you come on the weekend, that's what to expect.
How long will venues be open for?
It is on the registration page. You're not going to sleep there, kind of thing. They will close. So especially on Saturday night. So there have been teams that have, after closing time, I think it was 10 p.m. or so last year, have gone elsewhere, and then hopefully they went home. But yeah, you're not gonna. It's not a we're here to destroy your life. Have fun. Please do sleep over the weekend. Alright, so that is everything from us today. If there are any questions, I'm looking forward now to questions. Otherwise, it will be networking time. Are there any questions from anyone? Yes.
When are the challenges released again?
So on Friday night after the presentation, actually
7 o'clock on Friday.
7 o'clock on Friday, and we go through the challenges on the night. So we'll go through all the challenges one by one and talk about them, and then they'll come at 7 p.m.
Okay. I'll just add to it as well. So the event starts before the 7 o'clock. So there'll be talks. As part of those talks, and then the sponsors that'll be here, they'll talk about their challenges before. So by being here in person at the kickoff at Infosys, you'll hear about some of those challenges before the 7 p.m. So I'll get you thinking, and you'll get a bit of instruction what some of those challenges are. At 7 o'clock is when they all go online. So at 7 o'clock, you have your laptop out while they continue for a few moments. I thought I'd just add that little bit extra.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's good insight. Are there any other questions?
I'll go to another one. How many people overall typically participate based on past years, just out of interest? Like,
I'm not sure.
Okay, so the last couple of years been about 500 participants through COVID, and then even when we returned to in-person last year, so it's a bit over 500 people.
In
If we
Victoria.
go back to 2019, we had thousands of people participating. So 2019, 2018, 2017, we were 1,500 one of those years as well. So
totally.
the people showing up today, the number of people registering, the amount of interest, the Slack channels building up at the moment, this year could be potentially bigger again. So let's get 2,000.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Just some of the presenters spoke about some of the challenges. Are those ones definitely in? No, they're just
They're last
year's. Oh, last.
You'll find out at 7 p.m. on the night. That's when everything is secured, done all further changes. So you can think.
What we
now.
do as well, I'll keep adding to your things as well. I'll give you extra. So there'll be themes that you'll hear about. So watch the social media, and there'll be themes that will go up. So you hear what the themes are. You already know one thing: ESG, environment, social governance. That's the big theme, but that's very broad. As we get closer, we'll start dropping things like transport, and you watch the social media, and it won't tell you a lot of information. That doesn't tell you much, but it gives you a good idea of some of those data sets that you're going to be looking for as we get closer to what you think they might be. The next hint I can give you that is have a look at who those sponsors are. Go to their GovHack website, scroll down to the bottom, and when you see the government agencies and who they are, you're going to get a pretty good idea. Like the National Freight Data Hub, freight. There's going to be a challenge there about freight. You've got a pretty good idea for some of them as well.
Yeah, I have just 2 questions. Can we access projects from last year's submission as well as the description of the challenges from last year? Is it possible to do that?
Yeah, 2022.hackerspace.govhack.org. You go there, you can see all those challenges. You can even download a CSV with all those challenges and the descriptions and the videos. Run that through your machine learning.
So if you get this year's Hackerspace URL and put the date at the front of the URL, you get last year's.
And I guess we can see how many participants have registered for a particular challenge, right?
In the last year's one, yes.
For this year as well, as it's happening, you'll see those
Okay.
registrations. So each challenge page down the bottom will have how many teams registered for it. There aren't checkpoints this year. We have done that previously. We've dropped that. So you go right up until a minute before you can put them extra in, but don't register for all of them. You know, the judges aren't interested in seeing something unrelated. So you pick your key one and then maybe one or two that are related. Go, well, I've made it about this particular challenge, but it's in transport and these other 2 or 3 transport ones. I've been dropping a bit of a hint here, by the way.
So just one last question. Do you provide like the judgment criteria for every challenge?
Yes,
That's really we do. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
and some of them are going to be broad, some of them are going to be use a particular technology or use a data set from some of them are going to be really specific, use a particular data set. So they're going to have a variety of eligibility. I'm going to extend on it because it's one of the things I was going to raise and try to listen into a question. When you were talking about before filling out that thing, it's a requirement that you have the data sets. So one of the requirements, you have to use a government data set. So it doesn't matter which one for some of the challenges, and some of them have to have a particular data set you use. But there's other things that you go through the rules and the competition, you have to have your code published open source as well as a requirement. So if you have your GitHub there, it's a click of the button, you do it there. We'll have talks about that over the next couple of weeks in the digital conference. Tune into that, and we'll talk about some of the details of that criteria and what you need to do to make sure it's valid.
Yeah, we'll have a serving suggestion of data sets for our 2 challenges. So as you were saying, but the criteria is to at least use one of those, but then you can use whatever else you want to from any other source to support those challenges you're addressing.
Just one like last question. What can you tell exactly what is a typical successful project looks like?
I think I mentioned in my short preso, address the challenge. Make sure that you read the challenge, you understand the challenge, and you're addressing the key points within that challenge definition. There are far too many submissions that completely ignore
Probably
those.
called
those-
last minute
those-
I feel that's a broad answer, right?
But there will be quite a detailed description on what the challenge is. It won't be just a one line. There'll be a couple of paragraphs of what we're looking for. And the criteria is always address the challenge and show your workings as you were touching on.
And don't enter it into two, like different ones, like
Yeah,
just
that's
narrow
why
them apart.
Yeah, that's why half of them are disqualified because they're not addressing.
And then one extra thing as well, and for the challenge, what makes a good challenge is beyond the video and the screenshots. Anyone can quickly mock up a screenshot and you could enter all the challenges and you could probably do it in 5 minutes, especially with GPT generating your text now as well. You could quickly do it through, but that's going to be really obvious, right? That you just quickly generate about contract, it's just one screenshot. Show us the code, show us something working, show us that demo. Even better, have that link to that site where you can go in there and do it. It doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be production ready, but showing that concept and how it can work, and fake some of the data as well if you need to. Like get one real working data set, get a second one, make up another data set. Agencies love that. If you say it would be great if you had this data and you get one real data set and you get a second one and go, you don't have it at the moment, but if you had it, look at this cool thing I can build. And you only need 10 lines of data out of the millions and millions they could potentially have. But by putting that in there into your demo and showing it, and the demo might only work in that one scenario, but it works in that one scenario, so you can see what that final product will work.
And that's one of the reasons why we get involved in GovHack, because it's one of the only times that you can get data owners and data custodians talking to data users. And data owners get into this funk where they only see the data for their own purposes. They don't see the utility for it outside its intended purpose. So as you're saying, it's sometimes just use mock data because they need to know the quality of their data and the ability to extract really good insights. But it's also nice to know what it can't do. That's a great point.
There's a question.
Sorry, will these slides be available on Slack online or it's recorded?
It's recorded. Even better, there's a digital version of this as well, which will have all these slides in it. So that'll be online, and the recording of the digital version will be 2 weeks' time. So yes.
Awesome, thanks.
So it's not that you get particular bonus marks from having a wireframe or having some kind of mock-up. It's just how well you can sell it to the judges.
No, so what I'd say is that one thing over the last couple of years we want to make sure we're not just going off that video, because some people can make a really cool video, right? And it's not just about that, but also if it's a dry walkthrough video as well, it's not going to help your case, right? So yes, showing it is part of it, but just as important, the judges, they've got their different metrics that they're measuring it on, and some of them are the quality of the, you know, what you've actually produced, what the code is, you know, showing that evidence of work, etc. The story that you tell, I could actually ask you to tell a story in your project description, tell a story with that, not just a one-liner explaining, I answered your question, yes, yeah, yes, you should have more trains.
So is the videos that you talk about, sorry, that's the first time I'm here. So I'm just curious that is it a video submission that we do? Or is it like a presentation or is it just
3-minute video, a pitch, yep. So that is part of it. So the description, what your project is, some screenshots, a link to the website or the app if it's an app, maybe some photos if, you know, of what you've built if it's something mechanical or IoT. Or more information showing what you've built, maybe the team building it as well, a bit of coding, and, you know, show the code if there's any code involved as well. So all of that project is a submission, and the 3-minute pitch is part of it. That is not the only part of it.
Not live for the first ones.
Not live, is that what you're asking?
No, that's
Okay.
what I'm asking. And just
One distinction different from some of the other hackathons and even the first GovHacks is we've got a lot of teams. And if we let everyone up on stage for a 3-minute pitch and plus walking back and people going over and data issues, we'll be here all night. So we don't judge them on the night. So instead, everyone puts them all in the same time, and maybe a couple of teams might, let's say we showcase them and a few people can leave and you can watch a few videos. But the judges have got time, they've got a few weeks to judge them. And then we come back for award night a couple of weeks later.
are there are any of the past videos also available so we can have?
Yep, 2022, 2021, type in the year right back to 2018, Hackerspace. I'm getting at it. I put a request in just the other day that you go to the current Hackerspace and you've got a little thing at the top of the year and select it. So I'll make it a little bit easier, but at the moment, just type year and it start and you can go back and get it. Or you go to the govhack.org, just go to the main website, go up the top, click on winners, and you can get the winners from last year and look at their challenges and links through to the teams that won as well. So rather just looking at all the projects, go look at some of the winning teams.
Thank you.
That's 2022, and that's super small, but it's the URL up there. So that's
And you got top and link projects, gives you that list, and you can export it, get all those YouTube links, create a playlist, and you sit there for, I think we're at 26 hours or something, you know, something ridiculous of hours if you don't want to say. So put in double speed if you do actually want to watch them all.
There's YouTube, you can go back years, there's still some videos from previous years.
I found the 2009 ones last week, so if anyone's interested, find me and I'll send you the link to that. And there's some of those pictures and it's a bit of shaky and they were all doing demos and half of it's them trying to get the screen working, but it's the pictures from the 2009 one that they're doing it and watch them. And for every one of the videos that I watched, there's 20 something odd projects entered and I found about 9 other videos. Those products exist. All of them. And they're not directly, like a lot of them didn't get the credit directly. You go onto the sites now like OzTender, and it's what you expect on the main page of OzTender and be able to click through all those graphs. And that's what they were pitching back then. So these things, so watch some of those projects and you see those initial ones and it'll give you a bit of inspiration. It goes, the government agencies love this. This is now expected when you go on there, the ABS, and you can type in your postcode and you get the map and it gives you all the demographic data about your suburb. That's what they were pitching back in 2009.
They can. That's also the example.
1 in 20 was it?
Just pretend you're making
You
a
say 1 in
recommendation
20?
to a policy office.
So it's about 20 projects that were submitted that year. It was in Canberra. It was a small event, the first one in 2009 in Canberra.
There was a good one at, I think it was 2011 at the Age Building. It was beautiful data. And people were using 3D printers to produce jewelry from immigration data sets. So there's some really interesting takes on what an analysis and an idea is.
I think so. The PTV app that anybody uses in the Android phone, that was our idea back in 2017. So
yeah.
Are you working on it?
Sorry, no, we just presented, we created the code and Public Transport Victoria implemented it. So it was PTV's problem statement. So yeah.
So any last questions? Anyone else? Either now or the competition weekend.
Yeah, let's go.
a show of hands if anyone's in a team, oh, sorry, has a small team or has come here as an individual looking for a team. I've phrased that wrong. Anyone that's looking for a team, just put your hand up now. Okay, have a look around, keep your hand up, have a look around. There you go, have a chat, hang around for a bit. There's still some pizza out there. Have a chat. There's a channel, find team, hyphen team. I think that's what it is. No, I'm confused. But it's on the Slack. You can go there as well. And you can also get some additional virtual participants from other regions as well and get your friends in there as well. So have a chat. You saw the hands up there as well. There's still a bit of cold pizza left and have a drink. Oh, sorry, I didn't. You finished.
No, that's the.
Find team. I got it right.
Channel up there. So find team. And I go there when we're all here right now. So it makes most of it.
And just one last one, don't forget to go to the Digital Connections event because there will be like some teams from previous years where, you know, they need a Victorian participant to participate in a Victorian challenge.
yeah.
So they might be on the hunt for you as well, like if you're interested in collaborating across states.
And there'll be individuals attending the weekend as well, so be open to taking on events.
Also, is it one submission per team?
No, so a team could have multiple projects. But there's a many to relationship, if you imagine what you had before, many users in one team, many teams, many projects. Don't go crazy with it, because if you submit a whole lot of low quality ones, you're not going to get anything. Yeah, you can do multiple. And you can be a mixture of team members, so you can be part of 2 different teams with 2 different groups of people.
Yeah. Increased chance of winning.
Base nightmare. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, on that note, last call questions, otherwise.